have to be in your 40s or 50s to see the onset of wrinkles. Some people will see those pesky signs of aging as early as their 30s. But thankfully, there are ways to stop wrinkles in their tracks, and the experts at Therese Aesthetic Medicine are pros with all the top wrinkle relaxers. So we have the beauty coach herself, Dr. Therese Stubbs, joining me with more. So good to see you as always, Dr. Ann.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, I didn't realize that there are different types of wrinkles. So let's kind of dissect the wrinkle itself. You said two types.
Two types. There's dynamic wrinkles that are there because your muscle moves. So I usually have people hold up a mirror, and you can scowl or frown or bring your eyebrows together, and you'll see those two little lines kind of right in the middle that people sometimes call the 11s. Then smile real big, and we'll see some crow's feet here, and that's from a little muscle crinkling over here. And then raise your eyebrows real high, and you'll see some kind of lines that are horizontal across the forehead. So all of those things are because the muscles of facial expression are moving. So if you move them over and over again, those muscles get bigger. Say you exercised a bicep over and over again, it would get bigger.
Right.
Same thing with our muscles of facial expression. So after a while, the skin folds and folds and folds, and then even when we relax the muscle, we're seeing little lines there even after the muscle's relaxed. So that is where Botox, Dysport, and the newer one, Xeomin, all muscle relaxers, and they can be injected into that muscle, and it relaxes it. It still leaves you with a little movement so you can have your expression, but not the deep, deep wrinkles, the dynamic wrinkles that we call.
And we'll look at one example of crow's feet, because those are one of the most common things that you probably see coming in your office that nobody wants to see.
Exactly.
So what can you do for that?
That is just 3 little injections on the side of the eye there, and they're very tiny little needles, so people often don't even feel it. We put a little topical numbing cream if they're real nervous about it, and they don't even feel it. 3 tiny little injections on the side of the eye there, and it relaxes that little half-moon shaped muscle that causes the crow's feet. Still, you can smile, your eyes look like they're smiling. It really does look very natural, but they're gone. And you can see in this picture, it even gave this little lady just kind of a little eyebrow lift on the side. She has some hooding in the first picture on the left, and then when the muscle relaxers kick in about a week, she gets a little lift of her eyebrow because that muscle isn't pulling down any longer.
Okay, yeah, looks good. Let's look at another one that's pretty dramatic, I would say, when you look at how much it could make a difference.
Yes, and so the little crinkles that people call crow's feet can extend all the way even under the eye, and it makes you look almost like you have a little bag under the eye when you smile. So, you know, if you can animate and smile and not have that contract so hard, it's a little more, makes you look a little more rested.
So let's look too, and you mentioned the static wrinkles in the beginning. So where do you commonly see that those are really causing people problems on their face?
The common areas, like you mentioned, are crow's feet, and the biggest area is probably right between the eyes, that people call the 11s, or kind of the scowl mark. Because if you think about it, those are never happy expressions when we're squinting. Those are never happy emotions when we're squinting and causing these lines.
Right.
So people will get that everybody thinks I'm angry all the time. And so you can see in the top picture here, she's frowning as hard as she can, and you see that what I call the number 11 there. And in the second picture, she's frowning as hard as she can, and she can't make that motion. So she can't create those 2 little wrinkles.
And there's also one that we're going to look at too, kind of on the forehead, the bridge of the nose kind of look. And this one, I mean, you can tell she looks 10 years younger.
Right, and some people are very expressive with their forehead. They raise their eyebrows a lot, and this can be genetic too. A lot of people have just a bigger, what we call frontalis muscle, and so you see these horizontal lines across the forehead. And we make very careful, especially in women, to not put too much of this muscle relaxer in. So the goal is let's let you still move your eyebrows. As I like to say, my kids need to know when I'm mad. You know,
yeah.
my eyebrows need to go up and down. You need to leave people with some expression, but you can actually take out a lot of the muscle strength so that it's not creating the big deep wrinkles.
Dr. Ann, you always have free consultations, but you always leave our viewers with a great deal as well. So what can they get today?
Yes, today we're doing $10 a unit for Botox and $3 a unit for Dysport. These are 2 different brands, and they're dosed a little differently. Both work wonderfully for relaxing wrinkles. I think everybody knows the word Botox, but Dysport is the newer kid on the block in the last few years, very safe, effective, and they give a good run for the money there too. So it's a nice little thing that we can offer specials on both, and people can choose which one's right for them.
All right, just come in, find out which one you need. Thanks, Dr. Ann.
Thanks for having me.